I've been practicing it for many years.
I definitely did. I mean, obviously, it's a necessity to scope out the scene and to scope out what has been created before you to kind of understand what the scene is all about. And so I entered the scene and looked up obviously the most like Generation 1 people who started Nerdcore off, including people like MC Chris, MC Lars, MC Frontalot, Whitey Cracker, Shape of the Dark Lord, and Mega Ran was sort of like a Generation 1.5. I'm not entirely sure. He's been around for a really long time.
Have you?
That's why I didn't like mention him earlier, because like I think he's like the bridge between new school nerdcore and like old school nerdcore. He's obviously like the biggest one going out right now, but he's definitely the person who kind of made this transition of, I am influenced by hip-hop, I am influenced by storytelling, I'm influenced by education, and I'm influenced by video games. And he obviously used a lot of references in his content, but at the same time it was kind of informed by hip-hop background. And so he was like one of the first, if not the first ever, to do that. And so I kind of just, like soaked this all in and, did a whole bunch of research, listened to a whole bunch of music, and then I started listening to my peers, basically. People like Shazilla, people like Oh My, people like Creative Mindframe. I mean, they've been doing this for a lot longer than I have. I don't know if I should call them my peers, but they are my senpais, okay? They're my senpais. But I started listening to my senpais, and I, listened to the content that was being put out by people in the VPC. A lot of those tracks became things that I would unironically listen to because they were so good. And I started realizing just that the scene is filled with so many talented people, all writing about different and very various things. And that is something that I really appreciate about Nerdcore, is that anyone who identifies as a nerd and writes about something that they're passionate about can be Nerdcore, and that's totally a-okay in today's culture of Nerdcore. For some people looking from the outside, it may not look like it's growing. I definitely know some people who kind of say that Nerdcore is not as popular as it used to be. Obviously, there was, during the Gen 1 kind of period, there was this kind of like rapid uprising trend of, Nerdcore rappers, mostly white men. But I think the new generation is definitely starting to crop up, and I think I can see it on the horizon. I think it's going to happen, and I think that I probably belong in, this kind of like Gen 3 or like Gen 2.5, so to speak. Just people, not necessarily white men, not necessarily, black men, but women, women of color, creating interesting things. I definitely think that like people like Shubzilla and Lady J are creating some really cool stuff. Like we mutually agree that the women are really kicking ass in this scene, and so that's the trend that I'm noticing. And I think that Nerdcore is getting bigger just by this concept of you can be whoever the fuck you want and rap about whoever the fuck you want, as long as you're competent, you're reaching the correct audience that you're trying to reach, you can be successful. So yes, I think it is growing, and I think it will hit another stride in probably the next 5 to 10 years.